here back again in Eagan, Minnesota, where we make all of our products, and it's our distribution center. I wanted to pick up on that screen coating that we did just a little while ago. The next step would be going to exposure. We have our little BL1620 exposure unit. We created our artwork out of RhinoJet, which is our waterproof inkjet film. So we've created the image. We place it on our exposure unit where it's going to line up appropriately with the screen and the way we want to print it. I then take the screen that we coated and put it in position. We have a pressure plate. This will hold everything in place nicely and firmly. Some people like to take things and set them on top, give it a little bit more weight. We'll use our bucket of emulsion. So we have that set. I'm going to set my timer in this particular case for 4 minutes, and that's because I know with this exposure unit and this particular emulsion that that's the time it's going to take. Now the things to keep in mind in reference to this is that if you really don't know what the time setting is going to be, we highly recommend that you get an exposure calculator. A calculator will have a series of images that are all the same, but it will have a diffuser on it, so it will block percentages of the light. So you would overexpose your screen, say for 10 minutes, develop it, which we'll be doing here in about 4 minutes, and at that point you can read back and determine what the actual exposure time should be with your exposure unit, the emulsion that you've chose to use. This will be a variable as well if you're using white mesh or yellow mesh. White mesh has a tendency to expose a little more rapidly. So we'll wait for this to go off, and then we'll go into the back and we'll do our washing. Well, our time's just about up, and we're there we go. We're done. We've done it for our 4 minutes. Just going to turn off the light. One of the things to keep in mind, obviously I'm shooting this video with a lot of light around. So again, you'd want to have this in a subdued lit area, just so you don't get any exposure on your screen when you're starting out. What we're going to do from here is we're going to take the screen, we're going to go back into the what we call the pit, which is where we have a washout booth, pressure washer, and we'll wash out the unexposed emulsion. And then we can move on to the next step. So hang on, we'll be out there momentarily. And as you can see, or should be able to see, there's a latent image in there. So you know that you've gotten a burned screen. Here we go. Okay, as you can see, we're out in the pit. This is where we do a lot of chemical testing and so forth. And once again, we exposed our screen. I think you can see how you get the latent image where the light was blocked off. That's all going to wash away. So the first thing we want to do is wet it on both sides. What that's going to do is soften up the emulsion where it hasn't been exposed due to our film positive. So what I like to use is the high pressure washer. However, I make sure that I have a good fan. I back off a little bit so that I'm not just pounding on the screen really hard. You can see there how the emulsion is just rinsing right off where it was unexposed. So let's flip it around here. Give it a little bit more. And I like to just peel it because if it's slimy, that means I have to give it a little bit more washing and make sure I wash that off. That should do it, but let's take a close look at it. Make sure that all the open areas are ready to go. And we are. So we've made our screen. All we have to do is block out the remaining area. And that can be done with blockout or tape. I prefer tape. It's a little faster, a little easier, quick for cleanup. And we're ready to go. That's how you expose a screen and what you do to wash it out. Let's go do our prints. Thanks for watching. You know where to find us. See you soon.